Today, our topic is consistency and habits, the real game changer. You ever notice how, in any field, most people aren't really your competition? And I mean most, like 90% of them. That's because 90% of people don't make it to the end. They drop out. They quit when things get tough. That means the real competition is just the 10% who actually stick it out. You don't need to be better than everyone. Just outlast the ones who give up. Flip that thought around. If you simply don't quit, you're already in the top 10%. Most people talk big, start strong, and then fade away. You? Just keep going. The hard truth. Most people don't do the work. Let's get one thing straight. You're not competing against everyone. You're competing against people who are actually in the game. And guess what? Most people aren't even playing for real. Why? Because they don't put in the work. They don't study. They don't push themselves. They expect things to just happen. But in my experience, nothing, literally nothing, happens on its own. You want to reach your goal? Then you have to create the cause and effect that makes success inevitable. And that starts with changing yourself first. Focus on what you can control. People will judge you. That's just life. You can't control how they see you, but you can control what they see. If people don't take you seriously, then remove whatever it is that makes them doubt you. Level up so much that they have no choice but to respect you. Make it impossible for them to look down on you. Most unproductive people complain like, they waste time whining about why things aren't fair or why people treat them a certain way. But why not just become so good that none of that matters? Instead of arguing, outwork them. Instead of making excuses, build your skill set. Once you're exceptional at what you do, everything else takes care of itself. When I was younger, a teacher told me I needed to know my place. If some random stranger had said that, I would have brushed it off. But hearing it from a teacher, that hit different. But you know what? I don't blame them. At the time, they were right. I was inexperienced, unprepared, and just not good enough. That wasn't their fault. That was on me. So what did I do? I worked, I studied, I got better. Complaining wouldn't have changed anything. Improving did. Feel behind? Then put in the work. Think about it. Have you ever pulled an all-nighter to study for an exam? You probably have. We all have at some point. The problem? Most people do it once. They go all in for one night, then stop. But real progress happens when you stack those days. Imagine if that one night turned into 10, then 30, then a year. That's where the real change happens. I used to struggle with making long-term changes, so I started doing something simple. I wrote down one habit I wanted to change and stuck it on my door. Every time I left or entered my room, I saw it. I only committed to it for 1 week. That's it. No big promises, no overwhelming plans. Just one small change for 1 week. If it worked, I extended it. Trying to change everything at once? That's a recipe for failure. But focusing on one thing at a time? That's how you actually make it stick. Remember, you change first. Then the world changes. Sitting around, waiting for the world to change? That's wishful thinking. Nothing changes unless you do. And here's the truth. Good habits are hard at first. No one's denying that. But once they become second nature, they make everything easier. So how long does it take to form a habit? According to a 2009 study from University College London, it takes an average of 66 days for a new habit to stick. That means if you commit to changing just one thing every 7 weeks, you could transform up to 5 major habits in a year. That's 5 bad habits gone. 5 good habits locked in. And just imagine where you'd be in 5 years if you kept that up. Final thoughts. Play for the long run. Most people quit fast. Most people never build real habits. Most people never put in the work. So be different. Stay consistent. Change one thing at a time, but make it count. This isn't about motivation. Motivation fades. This is about discipline, habits, and showing up every day, whether you feel like it or not. Because when you look back years from now, you won't remember the struggle. You'll just be grateful you started. So stick with it. One step at a time. You got this. Thank you for watching. See ya.